What up? And welcome to another episode of From the Script to the Screen, Bleach Edition, episode 34 of 1,000 Year Blood War is out now. So, as always, you guys already know, gotta give a shout out to the creator, Tite Kubo, and shout out to the Studio Perriot films. They covered chapters 635 to 640, so they jumped around a little bit, but like I mentioned before, we already know that Kubo is highly involved with the production of this anime, and so he's been able to switch things around to help with either the pacing or just how he might have preferred to do the overall storytelling if he had a little bit more time. So regardless, I've been enjoying the episodes, but I say that because the manga readers might be thrown off a little bit. If you haven't watched the preview, you might be expecting something to happen and it hasn't happened yet, so it is what it is. But one of those episodes where the 20 minutes goes by pretty fast, because in this episode we're following Captain Kurotsuchi and Kenpachi with their lieutenants also following, and we see them run into one of the more odd looking Quincy's, and we already know that when it comes to battle, Kenpachi's not really trying to figure anything out. To him is a straight battle of strength, and he just wants to see who's stronger, right down to it, who could be who. So right off the bat, we already see that he runs into a situation because his right arm is injured right away, and then we see that he ends up losing the arm because the Quincy has an ability to control his opponent's movements. And so we learn from Kurotsuchi that the Quincy's and the way that they're able to control people, the way that we saw with Ichigo, is that shooting the reishi into another person's body allows them to control it, and so that's what he's doing. And me personally, I hate it when a character that I like ends up losing an arm, especially a swordsman, because now I feel like you're not at your full strength and we're not really seeing the full capabilities of the person, but we'll end up seeing what happens. But to be honest, the star of the episode, and my best way to word this episode, was a real creepy episode. But that's what happens whenever Captain Kurotsuchi is involved. Whenever it's him fighting by himself, he gets to pull out all his toys, all his experiments, all his inventions and gadgets. And so what I did enjoy seeing throughout the episode is all the things that he was pulling out. We see that the enemy, they ended up fighting the left hand of the Soul King. And like we learned with the episode with Ukitake, right hand controls stillness, left hand controls advancement. And I kind of took that in the fact that we see that the arm is able to reproduce itself, so it's able to advance itself as many times as it wants to. But I'm pretty sure there's a deeper explanation somewhere. But regardless of how you feel about him or how strong he might really be, he is always capable of thinking about a solution. And so we see in this episode that he ends up coming up with a counterattack. And so I gotta say, my favorite panel of the week, creepy as always, but we see him pull out an altered version of his Bankai. My favorite panel of the week. And how he basically explained it is that it'd be able to birth a new baby or a new Bankai based on the battle information that it sends it. And so we basically see that the creature that it births has 70,000 layers of protection, basically. And so this technique of the left hand and being able to infiltrate your body and control you wouldn't work on this. And so we see the Bankai eventually swallow him up, and that's where the episode ends. So we'll have to see what happens next week. Even though Kenpachi did end up losing an arm, was the one that suffered the most this episode, he was still able to get away with the lieutenants. And we'll have to see what they throw at us next week. But as always, let me know what you guys thought about the episode. And to the manga readers, definitely let me know what you guys thought about the adaptation with all the switching up. And do you guys like the changes? So, till next time, peace.